Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps lots. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Monday, April 4th. We're going to take a look at SoFi. So today we're going to back up in time. So we're going to start off on today's price action, chat through that quickly, and then we'll back it up to the 5-day and the 1 month, and then we'll work our way back to the 1 year. Just to kind of unpack, if you're looking at SoFi in different time frames based on different trading strategies, I thought it could be helpful to kind of run through those as possible. So without putting too much on the screen for today, basically the story of today was rising into open, big buy volume coming in at open, hitting resistance right around that 982 level that we had on the chart, coming back briefly, and then being able to flip that to support, which you see over here, and being able to ride and make an attempt at 10, but sort of shake that off, and then struggle with this 982 holding support later in the day. So much of the day just kind of pinning itself to that 982 level. But that said, this means that it was up over 4.5% today. So a good sign on the SoFi side of things for today. Any green days I think are very welcomed at this point. So I don't want to scoff at it. Even though, hey, I wish it was much higher, but this is where we're at. Pulling in the 5-day here, like we were talking about, batting itself around briefly between this 982 and 1065 level, and now it's seemingly wanting to fight with that 982 again, hopefully having shook off the recent lows down under this 982 level, where it was clearly resistance for the recent trading days, and now today fighting with it a bit. So hopefully, we'll see in the coming days if it's able to flip it from resistance to support, or if it happens to come back down further. Now, if it does on this time frame, there's a pretty strong level here around 963-ish. It might act closer to like 950 in reality, but you see this tipping point here is right there, as well as that support level there on that dip. So support, resistance there again here. And so that's about where it jumped off here today, right? So I'd look for that to see if that holds, in the shorter time frame as we get into the trading week. Zooming out to the 1 month, we see some battling here with this downtrend resistance, but overall putting in this sort of big cup formation. And then do you want to say that this was a small cup and then a very long handle? No, I'm just kidding. But basically we see here consistently 770 low there, a low in the high 8s here, and then a low here in the low 9s. So continuing to make higher lows. That said, it's sort of range bounding itself recently between about 9 and 1050, most of that happening between 9 and 10 really, right? So sticking itself into that range recently and spending most of its time in there. So we're looking for it to make a strong break out of that range, and once it's able to sustain some price action outside of that, that might indicate if we're in for another drawdown, maybe test that 850 level, or if we're able to make sort of significant run at that 1065 level and actually try to get some motion up and over it. On the 3-month, we see this downtrend obviously continuing to play out and win. No surprise there. And here you can even see better that range bound, right? And this stretches back. There's all this price action here where it was consolidating as well. And that's similar to the area where it had this sort of recovery zone here, right? Where it fell through and dipped all the way down to 850 there and then came back up. And that's sort of did this really quick dippity-do and then was able to regain some strength there and make a run up. So really interesting zone here between $9 and $10. It's really proving to be a pretty important one for SoFi. Zooming out to the daily, we have these 3 rays essentially of resistance. We have this one that it's currently battling with. We see it wicked off of it again there today, right? It had done that a few days ago as well, and several days in the past. So continuing to wick off of that range, but like we said, it's going to enter this sort of like descending triangle if it continues to push down as it approaches that 850 level. That said, that wouldn't happen until late April. But if it continues to do so, we'll see, and it might sort of like force the price action's hand at some point if it continues to consolidate in that zone. That said, it's putting in a little bit of a wedge here. We come up from 774. You see it's held now for several candlesticks this uptrend. So we have this uptrend support meeting this downtrend resistance, and so we'll see if there's anything that comes of that, and we don't have to deal with this 851 descending triangle situation, though if it pops out to the downside, we still might. But in any case, if this continues to hold, then we could see this forcing a push one way or the other toward the end of the week. So that could be sort of a shorter term sort of decision point for price to make. All right, I don't feel like that was very well formulated, that sentence, but that was my sentence. So that's what I'm looking at in the coming days, from like I said, intraday all the way out to daily candlestick charts. And I still think that $9 to $10 range is the critical zone. So if we dip below 9 and clearly flip that from support to resistance, then we might want to look for 850. If we can really get above 10 and show that there's some support there, and it's not just this sort of like wicking action that we have, then we might have a true run enabled to try and take 1065. But until then, it looks like it just kind of wants to bat itself around in that range that it spent a lot of time in previously, and not be too terribly decisive. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week got off to a good start today. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.